What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the ultimate shooting guide in NBA 2K24. I promise you, by the end of this video, everyone watching this video will be an elite shooter. It doesn't matter if you just got the game. It doesn't matter if you've had the game for a minute, but you are going to have to put everything I show in this video together because everything I'm going to talk about is very important to shooting. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So the first thing that we're going to go over is very important when it comes to shooting consistently, and that is looking at your hands while you shoot. And this is going to come in clutch whenever you get like a different timing for your shot, because in NBA 2K24 there are random speed ups, random slowdowns, and you cannot predict when they happen, and that is why looking at your hands is going to help that. When you actually release your shot while looking at your hands does depend on what shot timing visual cue that you use. Out of the four options, I use push. I feel like that is the most consistent out of the four, but release is also another really good option. Jump and set point, me personally, I wouldn't really touch those two. Now in my personal jump shot, which I am going to be giving y'all at the end of the video, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that, what I look for is whenever the ball reaches its peak, aka the top of my head, and that is when I release it every single time. It is not going to be the same on every single jump shot. So, you know, obviously I have a bunch of different builds, which means I have a bunch of different jump shots, and the point where I release each jump shot is going to change, and that's just how this game works. But yeah, I recommend going either to the Gatorade gym or the Art of Shooting gym and practicing your shot before you bring it out to online play and finding your cue, because it will make shooting a whole lot easier. Now, if you want to be an elite shooter in NBA 2K24, you got to make sure that your green window is the biggest that it can possibly be. And your green window can either be really small or it can be big. Now, there are a lot of factors that determine this, like the 3-point rating and the badges that you get, or even what mode you're playing. Let's say you're playing park, you're going to get a way bigger green window compared to like stage or pro-am. Now, one of the main factors that determines your green window in NBA 2K24 is going to be your hot zones. As you can see on the 3-point line, every single area is a hot zone. A hot zone is going to boost your green window a little bit. A neutral zone does not boost your green window at all, and a cold zone reduces your green window. But a lethal zone, that boosts your green window the most, but you can only have 2 lethal zones on the court. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all how to get lethal zones, but first you have to make sure you have a hot zone there. You are not going to be able to unlock a lethal zone in that area if you do not already have a hot zone there. If you are trying to get hot zones, the number one method that I recommend you do is you go over here to the Sunset Park. What you want to do over there, you want to go over to the billboard, you want to play against a guy named Disco, and all you want to do is just shoot over him. He's 5'7". It is a free bucket every single time, and you just want to keep replaying this until you get your hot zones in the zone that you want. And you can get a hot zone in any other mode. It doesn't matter. You can get it in my career, you can get it on stage, rec, park, like literally any other mode you can get a hot zone in, but it is the easiest to do over here. But once you make sure that you have a hot zone in that area, you want to go to this area right here on the map called the Art of Shooting gym, and you want to go ahead, go in there, and then what you want to do, you want to go up to this guy right here, press start drills, and then you are going to pick 2 areas on the court that you want to upgrade to a lethal zone. So you want to pick like the 2 areas that you shoot the most in. If you're like a spot up, I recommend doing both the corners, but for me, this is a 3s guard build, so I'm going to do the middle of the court, of course, and I really like to go to the right side whenever I'm dribbling on the 3, so I'm going to pick the right wing. And after you pick the 2 areas that you want to get a lethal zone in, all you have to do, make most of your shots in those zones. You don't even have to make all of them. I think you have to make 8. As long as you make 8, you should be good. As you can see, I have made every single shot in every zone, and I'm about to get my 2 hot zones that I picked upgraded to a lethal zone. That means I'm going to make way more shots in that area. I'm going to hit way more contesteds, and I'm going to get a way bigger green window. The next way you can get a boost in your green window is by turning off your shot meter. If you didn't already know, by turning off your shot meter, you get a 20% boost in your green window. It also is very good practice for learning the actual like cue of your jump shot, and rather than going off timing, the meter really hurts you more than it helps you. The next way that you can get a boost in your green window is by buying jump shot boosts. Now, I know it does cost VC to get jump shot boosts, but in my opinion, they are a necessity in NBA 2K24. Another thing you can do, you can also buy Gatorade. I personally buy Gatorade when I go to stage. Like if I'm playing park, I won't buy Gatorade, but you know, when I go to stage and there's VC on the line, I like to buy Gatorade because that is going to allow you to like keep your stamina for longer. I buy the thirst quencher. I don't buy any other Gatorade. I only buy the thirst quencher. Now, obviously, the higher 3-point rating that you have, the higher your green window is. But on this build, I have a 76 3-pointer, and you would think that my green window would be pretty small, but the reason that it isn't is because of my mid-range rating. And keep in mind, this right here is a guard build, so I'm not shooting like strictly off catch. I am creating off dribble with this build. But what having a high mid-range does for your build, number one, it allows you to get a bunch of different custom jump shots that you wouldn't be able to get with a low 3 ball. So with an 87 midi, I unlock T-Mac base, the best base in the game for tall builds. And you also unlock access to a lot of good badges. Like for example, I'll go to S tier badges, I get silver Deadeye, which is going to help me hit a lot more contested shots. I get green machine on silver, comeback kid Hall of Fame, guard up on gold, midi magician on gold. Obviously that's a mid-range badge, but open looks on gold. Like I get so many badges I would not be able to get with a low 3 ball because of my mid-range. And of course all those badges, as long as they're maxed out, they are going to boost your green window. Another way that you can get a boost in your green window is equipping the arm sleeves that boost your 3-point rating. As you can see, at level 6 in season 7 you can get an arm sleeve that boosts your 3-point shot rating. Unfortunately, you do have to pay $10 to get the premium pass, but if you spend that $10 you can get that 3-point shot arm sleeve, and if you equip it you get a +1 attribute rating to your 3-point. It isn't going to boost your green window that much, but if you put it together with all the other methods I just showed you, it is definitely going to help a good bit. Now those are really the only ways that you can widen your green window, but there are a couple things you can do in game to stop your green window from getting smaller. Number one is to stop taking off dribble shots like fades and hop jumpers. Fades and hop jumpers are significantly harder to hit. Yes, they are greenable, but the green window on those shots are so small that you really have to have like takeover or at least green machine activated to really take that shot. Like I said, it is greenable and you might see some really good players hit that shot, but that does not mean it's easy. Another thing that can lower your green window is if you dribble out the shot clock. If you dribble out the shot clock, what that does is it not only wastes your stamina, but it also wastes your adrenaline, and those two things right there both lower your green window. So as y'all all probably know, NBA 2K24 is very delayed, and that is obviously going to affect your shot. And while there is really no way to get rid of all delay, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a few tips that get rid of the most delay. Number one is going to be to plug in your controller. Now I don't know if it's like this on Xbox, but there is actually a way to get rid of more delay while using a wired controller. So what you want to do on PlayStation, you want to go to the accessories tab, and then you should see your controller right here. You want to press X on that, go to controller settings, and then you want to go to controller general. Now for communication method, you want to go with use USB cable. So what that does, it basically turns your wireless controller into a wired controller as long as you plug it in. But if you unplug it, it's going to do this. It's going to disconnect your controller completely. So make sure that you don't unplug it while you're playing, and you should be good. Tip number two is going to be to get a monitor with a low MS response time. If you didn't already know what MS response time is, it basically reduces the latency that every game has. The thing that got rid of delay the most for me was playing on a LAN cable or an Ethernet cord. Basically what that does, it plugs from your router directly into your console, and it makes your internet basically way less delayed. And when I say way less delayed, I mean like it's so noticeable. LAN cables are not expensive at all. They're only like $10, I think. I promise you right now, every single good player on NBA 2K24, they all use LAN cables. And you want to know why? Because it basically gives you no delay. And the final tip to get rid of delay, now this is something you're going to have to do in game. It is going to be to refresh your frames. Now the way you do that, while you're in the middle of the game, just go to the home screen and go right back to the game. It's the same way on Xbox and PlayStation. That's legit all you have to do. But basically what it does, it just like resets your game. In game, if you go a while without refreshing, it is going to be a little bit delayed, so I do recommend doing this pretty often. Now another thing that I recommend doing that will help you shoot way better in NBA 2K24 is turning off your green animation. The way you do that, you go to animations, and then from animations you want to go to customize HUD, and then you want to go to perfect release animation and SFX, and then you want to hit off on visibility. Basically what this does, it gets rid of a little bit delay you might have in game, because I'm gonna show y'all. For example, let's say I were to use the bucket green animation. You're telling me that wouldn't give you a little bit of delay if you just had a big green bucket on your screen for no reason? It is going to give you a little bit of input delay if you do have it on. And I know some people, they don't like using shot feedback because they feel like it does the exact same thing. For me personally, I just want to know like what contests I hit, and you know, obviously if I was wide open or not. So personally, I leave it on. But if you turn this off, it probably will get rid of some delay for you. Now next, I'm going to go over some tips that are going to help you shoot way better in game. Now this tip right here is for shooting off the catch. It doesn't matter if you're a guard, you probably still need to know this. Actually, this clip right here is on my guard. But a lot of things that spot ups and people who shoot off the catch do, they start holding square before they even get the ball. You do not want to do this. What you want to do, you want to wait until your my player's feet are set. I'm going to show y'all a clip here in a second. Look what I do right here. Wait for my feet to set, and then I shoot it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be patient. You can't rush the shot. Like, odds are if you... Wait, hold on. I got to go back to it. Odds are if you're rushing the shot, you don't have it in the first place. So You gotta be patient, gotta wait for your feet to set, and then time the shot. The next thing that y'all gotta stop doing if you want to shoot better in NBA 2K24 is stop changing your shot so often. The way NBA 2K24 is, you are gonna have bad games. The shooting is so weird in this game. So if you have one bad game with your jump shot, that does not mean you should change it. If you keep having bad games, obviously change it. But if you keep changing your jump shots over and over and over and over again, that is not gonna help you at all. You gotta stick with your jump shot for a while. The next tip I got for y'all is to practice your jump shot. I know so many people that just go straight to the park, straight to the stage without even practicing with their jump shot. You can't do that. Now, I would either practice my jump shot in the Gatorade training facility or the Art of Shooting gym. Either one works. Me personally, if I just put on a new jump shot and I wanted to try it out, I would probably go to the Gatorade training facility because it is a little bit more delayed and the timing is more like what it would be like in park or stage. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the importance of jump shot grades. Now, obviously, the speed in your jump shot is pretty important. On a guard, I wouldn't really go anything under A-. That is the lowest I've used this year. Release height allows you to shoot over players. It's going to help you make a lot more contested shots. That is a really important grade in my opinion, especially for guards and spot ups too, if you want to be able to shoot over people. Defensive immunity is also really important. The higher the defensive immunity grade you have, the lower the contest that the defender is going to get. So it's basically deadeye, but it's built into your shot. And then timing stability determines how many different timings you are going to get in your shot. So as y'all know, there are speed ups, slowdowns, gathers, all that kind of stuff. The higher timing stability you have, the less timings you get. Let's say you had like an F timing stability. You're going to get a lot of different timings. You might like catch the ball and get a speed up for no reason while wide open. Like, as long as you like the feel of it, I would still go with it. Grades really aren't that important. However, if it has like an F timing stability, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably look for another shot. And finally, the part of the video that most of y'all have been waiting for and probably a good amount of y'all skipped for. We're gonna go ahead and go over the best jump shot for every single height and 3-point rating. If you made it this far, go ahead and drop a like and drop a sub to the channel for me. It would really help me out. But enough yapping, let me go ahead and get into the jump shots. So for a low 3-ball 6'4" and under build, I would recommend going with Kyle Lowry base, Oscar Robertson release 1, and then Damian Lillard release 2. I'm not gonna lie, if you are a 6'4" and under guard, you should have a lot more than an 85 or higher midi or 3-point. So for the speed, you want to go with max, and then for the blending, you want to go with 60-40. Next, we're going to go ahead and get into the best jump shot for 6'4" and under guards. I mean, just look at the grades on the shot. A+ height, A+ speed, A- immunity, C- time and stability. And you only need an 87+ 3-pointer or midi to get this shot. For the base, of course, you want to go with Patty Mills. Patty Mills, the best base in the game for small builds. This base is so good that people literally glitch this base on their 6'5" and 6'9" guards. Like, it's that good. Upper release 1, Oscar Robertson, and then upper release 2, you also want to go with Oscar Robertson. Now for the speed, you can either go max or 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4, it barely even takes down the speed and it gives you some better grades, so it's really up to you. I went 4 out of 4. By the way, you do have to be starter 3 rep to unlock Patty Mills base. If you are not starter 3, that is why you can't see this base. You do have to be starter 3 before you can use this shot. By the way, I do recommend using release, shot time, and visual cue, because this shot is really hard to time with push. And if you are a 6'4" and under guard who is not yet starter 3 to unlock that Patty Mills base, I would go with base Stephen Curry, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and release 2 Terrence Mann. And for the speed, I would go max, and then for the blending, I would go with 60-40. Grades on the shot are really good. You only need a 90+ 3 or mid-range to unlock this shot. Now moving on to 6'5" through 6'9" guards with a low 3-ball. If you are a 6'5" to 6'9" guard with a low 3-ball, I would go with Kyle Kuzma base, release 1 Josh Richardson, and release 2 Sadiq Bey. Max speed, and then 43-57 blending. Now the grades, they're not really anything special with this shot, but you can't really ask for too much whenever you have a 78+ 3 or midi. This is like really the best you're gonna get, but it is a very smooth shot. And I used a 78 3-ball guard like early on in the year with no mid-range, and this was the shot that I used and I barely missed on it. Now if you are a low 3-ball or mid-range 6'5" to 6'9" spot up, I recommend going JT Thor base, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and release 2 Sadiq Bey. Speed max, and then for the blending, I would go 54-46. My low 3-ball spot ups, I have been using this shot since day 1 of the game. Now if you are a 6'5" through 6'9" guard and are kinda in the middle of mid-range and 3-point, which is 83 plus. I would go with Torian Prince base, release 1 Oscar Robertson, and release 2 Sadiq Bey. For the speed, I would go max, and then for the blending, I went with 50-50. Now this shot right here is very quick. It's super easy to time. Now for this shot right here, you are going to need an 87 plus midi or 3-point to get this shot, but it does work for spot ups or guards. Now you want to go with base Tracy McGrady, release 1 Oscar Robertson, release 2 Sadiq Bey. For the speed, you want to go max, and then for the blending, you want to go 72-28. You get some really good grades with this shot: A plus release height, A release speed, B defensive immunity, and a B plus timing stability. So you're not really going to get that many timings with this shot. Like I said, you can use this on spot up builds. It's very nice from the corner, or you can use it on guards, which is what I do. I use this build on all my 2s guards. Now this jump shot right here is the best jump shot in the game for 6'5" through 6'9" builds. It doesn't matter if you're a guard, it doesn't matter if you're a spot up. Shot, you get an A plus release height, A minus defensive immunity, B timing stability, and an A speed, all while only needing an 89 plus 3-pointer or mid-range to use this shot. Best shot you can go with is base Tracy McGrady, release 1 Oscar Robertson, release 2 Oscar Robertson. Now I use this shot for a while. I don't know what it is about this shot. It's just so easy to shoot contested with. Like, I don't know what it is. That pretty much wraps up the video. I appreciate y'all for watching this video all the way through. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a like on the video and drop a sub to the channel. This video did take a while to put together, and it really would help out the channel. If y'all have any questions, or maybe you want to share a jump shot in the comments, or you want to share a shooting tip that you use, yeah, that's all I got to say, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.